G'day guys, Aaron here from MMT. Welcome to another episode of Fix It Yourself. Today we're going to be talking about the posterior neck. So from the base of the skull and down that line, okay? So given the way of the world at the moment, increased stress levels globally, if you're watching out there, you might even be able to relate to neck pain, increased neck pain, headaches, maybe migraines, maybe some stuff going into the arms, some weakness, some numbness, some tingling, can all relate to a compressed posterior neck. Stiffness, tension, just angry, inflamed tissues here can cause to all those issues that I just mentioned. So come in here and just have a little bit of a look at exactly where we're going to be targeting. So the areas, like I said, are at the base of the skull here, okay? So you can see superficially here, the upper trap is coming up and intersecting, attaching onto the base of the skull. And if you take that layer off, you can see even deeper, there's some more complex things going on. What I want to show you too, Ninja, if we go down here to the anatomy book, we can see even more complexity. So this is the superficial chart that we just saw, and we can see how much white stuff there is. So white is really, really tense fascia, okay? So that's what we want to be targeting. You can see as we take the superficial layer off, there's a bit of white up at the nuchal line, the suboccipital attachments for all these muscles. But what I want to show you is as we flip pages, we can see we can take layers off and things become more complex. You can see the fascia there. It's just increasing every time we take a layer off. If we come over here, we can see even more so. Okay, and if we go over another page, check this out. Starts to get really complex, really small muscles going in a lot of different directions. Okay, if you look at this one here, just have a look how many little muscles and little tendons. And these are all just chances for tendons to get stuck and compressed and inflamed, okay? So these are the areas we're going to be targeting. If we come over here, once again, we can see incredible stuff as we take the layers off. So probably a lot of you out there aren't even used to witnessing what's actually under your skin, under these muscles. So yeah, you can see it's pretty amazing the way our bodies are built. All right, so what I want to show you now is using the skeleton, just the areas that we want to be targeting. So I said posterior neck, which is basically from the base of the skull and down, but the areas that we want to be really focusing on are the ones that are attaching up into the base of the skull here, okay? So if you're watching this and you've had headaches or inflammation of the neck, you can relate to wanting to push your thumb, push your fingers up into these spots here to try and get a release. And we're going to be using tools today. So you can see the ball is going to be really pushing up into the base of the skull there, pushing into all these muscles at the posterior neck. You can see if we use a tool as well, they're going to be pinning and prizing things up in this area, okay? So it's all, the goal of this is to change the state of these tissues. These tissues are stressed, they're inflamed, they're compressed. So what we want to do is hydrate them with our pressure, lengthen them, change the state of these tissues, and get rid of any really inflamed pain receptors that are in this area, okay? The last thing I want to show you, which relates to this chart, you can see these yellow things here, they're nerves coming out of the spine. And in particular, the ones in the cervical spine here at the posterior neck go down the arm. You get a better indication when you're looking at this nerve chart here. So you can see the areas we're going to be targeting. Look at the nerves coming out and then going down the arm. So I said at the start of the video, you know, you're going to have neck pain or some headaches, but you may have some weakness, some tingling, some burning sensation within the arm. And you might think, what's wrong with my arm? But you might actually have a compression in this posterior neck that's clamping down on some of those nerve roots and not allowing the flow to go down the arm from these areas. So yeah, we hope these tips are going to be really helpful for you. We encourage you to try every single technique that we're going to give. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be able to fix your neck pain and get rid of your headaches and allow you to get on with your life. So yeah, stay tuned. Look at him. All right, we're good. Go.
Okay guys, so we're going to do some treatment for the back of the neck with our hands. But before we do that, we want to kind of get a bit of an understanding about how a neck is actually feeling. So you want to explore all the different movements of your neck. Okay, so get a good idea. So you'll probably have an idea already where you've been sore, but moving around, that just really brings it to your awareness about where you need to get into. Okay, so move it all around and just sort of make notes, even touch into it when you're moving and just feel it where you're kind of stiff and sore and got pain. Okay, so when we're starting to work on the neck, what we want to do is just get a grip on it. So you're kind of not just slowly working into it. Just get a grip, so we're not moving really fast. We're just nice and slow and just grip and move, so we can go out along the base of the skull. Is a good one for a start. So we're just slowly working, getting a bit of an idea of where it's sore, like that. So we can do some sideways strokes for a start. So our fingertips are on the spine, each side of the spine, and then move around and then go out like that. So go down a bit lower, fingertips push into the sides of the spine, and then work out like that. You might want to do one more like this, working into this fascia here, start to warm it up, start to get a bit of an idea how it feels, like that. And then we can start to change our fingers around a bit and pull down like that. Slowly work into it, nice and slow, push up into there and work down like that. So this feels really good. So we're not moving fast, nice and slow, feeling into the tissues, really engaging into it like that. And then what we can do is grab our base of our skull like this, shorten it so we can get a good purchase on it, and then pull down, pull over, because there's muscles on the base of our skull and up onto our skull a bit, so we can kind of get a bit of an idea of what's sore already and what needs some work, like this. Really pull up onto it. You can feel a bit of a stretch as well when you're doing this. You can feel the fascia right down through your thoracic, down into your lower back. And then maybe go out and do another one. Here, like this. Like that. So you start to really feel, up into your head and your base of your skull, just exactly where you need to do some work. So this feels really good. I'm feeling a good stretch. Base of my palms, just slowly working. Okay, so after you've done a bit of warm-up stuff, then you want to start to kind of feel into the base of your skull, push up into it. So you want to have that direction. You're going to, like a spear, so you're finding the different spots on your spine. So I can feel my spine there, and I can feel the base of my skull. So this is an opportunist bit for tension. So right into these sort of spots. So we start to push up into it, okay? Start to push up in. So we go backwards, shorten it, and then we push into it. Then we can start to move around and really try and pinpoint those spots that really need that work. So we can kind of grab our skull, grab them with your fingers and pull right up into it like that. So we'll get a bit more pressure on this in a minute, and I'll show you how to do it. Just we're slowly, gradually getting into it. So we're moving along. So we're moving along the skull. So I'm pushing right up. So on that angle, trying to jam right up underneath my skull and work it out. So warming it up. So I'm wanting to do a stroke that goes right around and warm that all up. So pushing right up, moving around, getting an idea of what those muscles in there do, and you're probably hitting onto spots that you just know have got lots of tension in them already, like that. So I'm just going to gradually get around, working all these spots. I'll just sort of speed it up a little bit for the video's sake, but you just you would spend as much time as you needed on these different spots and just wait for them to kind of dissolve at this level of pressure that you can put on. Okay, so keep on going around. So you can do the same with the spine as well. So you can push right in. So we want to push in directly down, straight down, and then go into the side of the spinous processes. So these prongs that go straight back, you want to get into them. Working in all these different angles that you can move your neck, work right into them. So when I go side to side, I can feel the bones shifting, and so it allows me to sort of shimmy into these spaces that need work. So I'm just gradually going down my neck, right in close to the spine. Well, these nerve pathways are trying to get out, so we can free up the tissue around it that's blocking it and really start to free it up. Okay, so we can work all the way down, just step ahead a little bit, down to about here is where we can reach. So you can kind of put a bit more pressure on just by using your own hand, like that. So what we want to do is to go to another level now. So we're going to get down on the ground. So you can do this like with on your knee and then pushing down like that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you an easier way, is just go on the ground like this. So we're going to start by pushing up in there like that, and then I can start to move around. So what I want to do is get heaps of pressure on this angle here, right up into these spots. Okay, and then I can start to move around those little bits and really pin the spots. And once I'm in these sort of spots and I can feel that there's a line of tension going down, you'll just intuitively know what you can start to do is start to really slowly move along that line. Okay, you can still move your neck around and get in between these bones that are moving, hit up in onto these surfaces that really need some melting down. They've just been so tense and blocked up, and you intuitively know where to go. So I'm just kind of slowly shimming, moving down my neck like that. Slowly, 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 like that. So I'll just do another spot. So we'll just find a spot, and you're sort of pushing right up in there. So we go forwards, so we want to spear on that angle there. Spear right up underneath your skull, and then just pin that, and just pull back into it. Pull back into it, and then just really hit on the spot that you want, like that. Wait for it to dissolve, change some angles, explore it. Is there any other little bits around it that need to be melted? Keep on working it, keep on going until that pain all dissolves. And then you're going to move it down like this. Slowly move along those lines of tension. You can just sense them in yourself. You can feel them. So that's the beauty of hands-on work. You can feel with this thumb, you can feel the lines of tension. You can feel if it's got like sharp spurs on the bone. You can feel temperature. You can feel if it's inflamed, things like that. And you can also feel it in your own self, what that pain is. So there's a whole, things resonate with you. You can really feel them, you can sense what's going on, you know what's right. When you're using a massage tool, the tool hasn't got sensory input that you can gather. You can just feel the pain, but you can't really feel the texture, and the temperature of the place you're working on, like that. Anyway, so that's a bit of a treatment that you can do by yourself, and it can really make some real inroads into your own neck pain and stiffness and tightness and things like that. And my own story is I fixed my own neck up, when I was 28, so that's about 20 years ago. I had a neck injury. I was there for 14 years, and I was in the car, pushing my elbow up into the car, into the ceiling, and then just worked on these spots and just pushed them, and then I just held it and then pushed up and just really worked it. So I worked on sections of my neck that were about that big, like 45 minutes on one section, and what that did, all these years of pain that I had, that dissolved it in those 1 or 2 sessions I did. So this can be a real game changer for you. So don't underestimate what you can do with your hands. Be intuitive, and just listen to the feedback, and then test, see how you've gone, see if it sort of needs more work, or if it's the tension shifted from one spot, then you notice it in another spot, so then you go after that bit. So you chase it around, and then you just systematically dissolve things, let it integrate, have a few days off, then judge how you've gone, then maybe a week later have another real crack at it. So yeah, hands-on work can be the thing.
All right, guys, we're going to start using some tools to release our posterior neck. So I've got a hard cardboard cylinder and a ball. So at home, you guys might not have one of these, but a foam roller, a piece of PVC pipe can be good. This is just a broad release, okay, before we get our more acute tool in there. So what we do is we place that down like so, and then basically we want to start right up at the base of the skull. Now what I'm doing here is actually like pulling my neck down toward, my chin down towards my chest. And I'm actually getting a bit of a stretch out of the posterior neck. At the same time, I'm pushing my body weight back down onto it. So I'm kind of getting a pin, but also a stretch. And as I roll down there, I can kind of pivot both ways. And as I roll down, when I get to a sticking point about there, if I start to rotate my neck, it pins. Oh, it pins either side. So if I rotate to the left, it's going to pin that left side, and I can pivot once more and really try and free up those tendons that are attaching to the base of the skull on the left side, and vice versa. If I go right, I can really pin and drag some of the muscles that are on that left hand side there. So we can also go the whole way down too. So when I go to the left side, I can come down. Probably don't get as much there away from the skull, so that just shows that a lot of my stuff's right up onto that skull there, okay? So once you've done a few minutes of that, we can get even more acute. So get our ball, and what we're doing is we're not working right on the middle, we're always working to one side of the spine. So if I could show you on the spine here, we're not working on the middle, we're always working to one side. So literally to the side of those prongs that come out the back and touching the base of the skull there, okay? So right and left. Okay, so I'll come back here. I'm going to start on the right side, on the left side, sorry. So literally right at the back of the skull, not into the neck itself, otherwise it wouldn't hit. We're right on the back of the skull to the left. And then, it's kind of sliding down my hair a little bit, but I'm just going to try and pin it with my body weight. And then you just work it. So I do a lot of this stuff in bed. Like if I get my ball on my pillow and then just lie in bed at night and just do some release before I sleep, it's a good way to calm the nervous system down and just get rid of any stiffness or tension that you might have had during the day. So yeah, pinning and moving. You can keep replacing the ball if you want to try and find a different spot. So that's right up on the skull. So just pinning, and then if I just push my body weight up, I can do these little scoops. You might be able to see a little scoop there. So these points, they're really, really painful at times because you're pushing right down on the bone, and generally most people haven't had these areas touched before, so they can be quite compressed, quite stiff. Right there, that's a ripper. So the good thing about these areas is when you pin the right spot, generally you get some kind of headachy type referral. A lot of these muscles do refer sensation to the top of the head, the temple, the forehead, and also the side of the head too. So you're looking for those areas. I'm going to come around to the side a little bit more. I feel like I want to chase something down the side a little bit more there. So let's just pin that. Yeah, that's good there too. Pin and hold. So yeah, guys, there's no rules. You just follow where your pain is. Try and stay close to bone, and then just take time, okay, and allow the body time to change its state. Okay guys, another tool here. This is one of my favorite release tools. It's called a Theracane. So you guys can grab these off eBay. They're normally 15, 20 bucks, and they're quite versatile. So you can use these little balls on the end of the actual cane itself to release certain parts of the body. But the actual shape of the cane makes it really easy to get up into the neck, and also anytime you're doing work into the shoulders. So the reason why it's so easy is obviously the hook, but it's because you can use your leverage off the cane to actually create force going up into the back of the head. Okay, so this is the way I'm going to hold it here. So my right hand is on that little hold there, left hand is here, the cane's facing up, not down, and I'm going to work into the right side of my neck. So I pin straight up into the base of the skull there, and I just hold. So this right hand is my anchor, and my left hand, if I pull down on that, the leverage is just really digging up into the base of my skull there. So you guys out there with pain in these areas, you can relate to just knowing that this is going to feel good. All right, so right in the middle, right at the base of the skull there on that right hand erector, and we can work our way around. So pin and release, pin, and release, pin and release, right up on the skull, coming right around into that mastoid process right behind the ear. So right there, that's referral straight into my forehead. It's a bit of a classic headache pattern that a lot of people who come to see me get. That's fantastic. So we can actually do some scoops coming down here too. So hold there, and then maybe we can drag. If you feel like it's a little bit too pulley, you could get some coconut oil or just some natural moisturizer, rub a little bit on, and that might give you a little bit more glide there. So hopefully Ninja, you can see that gliding down. So slowly coming down, just still pinning, and just slowly making my way down. Working into the side, back of my neck there. That's going up the side of my head. Yes. So you get the gist of that. Awesome tool. They're called a Theracane. I just gave myself a pretty good release there. Feeling really good now. So once again, as Ninja said, always test. Feel like we're a little bit more down low now. So yeah, you can go there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Bang, pinning on that spot. Maybe I can do some active movement here too. That's good. All right, grab your Theracanes, guys. Have a crack.
Okay, so we're going to grab some more tools to do the back of our neck. So we want to go through blunter tools, more dispersing tools, and then get sharper and sharper. So I've got a mortar and pestle. This is the pestle part. So what we can do is we can push this up into the base of the skull. So it's not too invasive, not too intrusive. So we can sort of kind of figure stuff out and work into it like that. And working along the base of the skull, we're going to try and push up into it. We can use our hand on the other side to push down a bit harder. But we're not going to dig in too deep because it's pretty blunt like that. So we're just working right along the base of the skull, and we can work into the side of the neck a bit as well. So using the chair to try and get a bit more pressure, a bit more stability. You can move around so we can kind of start to explore movement. Think of the ways your neck moves and the ways that we're causing you problems before, and start to explore like that. Okay, so we're going to do similar sort of stuff. So we've got the old wooden spoon, the rolling pin. We can do similar kind of stuff. So we can anchor it onto the top of the chair like that, and we can work into it. So this is a really good tool here. So the rounded end really helps us spear right in underneath the skull, and then we can just sort of shift out. So that performs a bit of a scoop type of method, scoop thing. So we can do these little movements, little shimmies that help us hit on the different aspects of the blocked up tissue. So you just sort of intuitively tell when you're on a good spot, hold it, try and spear right up into it, hold it down, push down on your head, make sure it's not going to shift out. So you can kind of guide it with one finger, like that, and push down, and hit the spot and wait for it to disperse. Okay, so we'll go to some sharper tools. So I just got a few examples. So you got our screwdriver. This is the Cocoa Jack. It's a good one. And then sometimes you might need to use something like this. It's got a bit of a rounded end, but it's a bit flatter. So that might be one I can use. So here's a bit of this. So we can kind of hook right in. So if we've tested, we know we've got a spot here. We sit on it and wait like that. So we want to spear. So I can change the angles, move around, and then just try and spear hit right onto the exact spot that we want, like that. Move around, like that. We might want to hit into the neck a little bit. So we kind of hit in like that. Move around. I can feel that's getting right in there. So you don't need that much pressure for this one. Push right in. Down. Like that. So that feels really kind of therapeutic. Can move around. Hit into the spots. When I go backwards, I can feel it strong. And I can kind of floss it a bit as I go out, like that. And so, if you want it even more detailed, something like this might be good. So we just found that it's like off the end of a curtain rod. So, just the same sort of thing. We move around. We identify just where we want to go, and it's like this. Push in like that. So right into that spot that has been bothering you. Hold it for a bit. And then wait for that to melt, and then you change angles like that. Really try and hit onto the spot. And then try and scoop it out like that. Anyway, I think it's time for the bigger tool.
Oh, show us, Ninja.
This one, the old broomstick. So you can just do it in the middle of the room and try and get it to spear right up into the neck like that. So you want it to go right under the base of your skull. You're guiding it with your hands, so be careful. So hold it with one hand like that, and then you can start to push down on it with the other hand. So I'm really feeling the spot there, and then just moving my body around those little bits like that. I can start to feel into exactly where I want to get into. So hold on to it, wait for that to disperse, and then change your angle. Once all that bit there is cleared, then you can move on to the next spot. So you might feel that you want to get an angle like this, so you hook it into the floor. So you in here like that, and then by hooking it into the floor, you know it's not going to move on that end, and then you can start to do these lunges and trying to explore. So you might step through or back just to find that right angle. So just kind of be creative, invent ways to kind of hit the right spots like that. And there might be a time when you want to get more down like that, some downward pressure. So you kind of can start up like that and then work down into a spot like that. So that's feeling like it's scooping stuff out. We might want to get into our neck down here at this level, and that might be a good way to get into it, to find an angle and really push into it like that. So I can kind of move my neck around, make sure I've got it on a good spot for a start. So you can bend your head backwards just to soften that tissue like that, and then start to work it out. Really pin onto the right spot. You'll know, the pain will tell you if it's good, and then you can start to work it like that. Okay, so the old broomstick can be the best tool ever, but got to give you a bit of caution with it too. Don't just hammer straight into it. Make sure you go through the process of warming it up. Be safe with it as well. Make sure you got a good grip on it. It's not going to shift, and go slow. Go, let the tissue have time to melt, and then kind of hit into right into the skeleton level, and then melt that, disperse it, the pain will go, and then explore angles by moving the stick around or moving your body around. So give it a go, guys.
Hey folks, got some bonus tips for posterior neck treatment. So just a bit of food for thought. A big one that we probably didn't cover was the postures you're likely to see in people that have a shortened or compressed area of their neck back here. So we're likely to see this kind of posture, a really sunken posture, forward head carriage, because all the tissues at the back here get quite tight. and they pull the base of the skull closer to the spine there. And you see that posture all the time in a lot of people that have poor posture relating to a roundedness of the spine and things like that. So if that's you, or if that's someone that you know, this series that you've just watched is going to be really good for them. We also wanted to speak about a bit of the metaphysics behind neck pain in general, and the language behind some things that you might have heard, like a pain in the neck. You know, when you hear someone say, "Oh, a person's a pain in the neck," that means when something's annoying you, or you're holding a grudge or a resentment, that can present as a pain in your neck, quite literally. Okay, and when looking a bit deeper into the metaphysics, you can see that we want our necks to be flexible. So we want to see both sides of the story, okay? We don't want to be one-sided. We don't want to be rigid and bull-headed like that, okay? So you want to have a supple neck. You want to have a flexible neck that can look both ways. So when you're diving a bit deeper into your pain, start to think about maybe some things that are happening in your life right now. Are you having a fight with someone? Are you very pig-headed and very rigid in the way you're thinking towards a particular event in your life, okay? So solving those certain things, when you shine a light on them, may be the thing that you need to be able to push a bit deeper into your neck to actually correct your pain, all right? So a bit of food for thought. Good luck.